hello there guys. So today I'm here to do a very long overdue video, and that is an update on Ari. It's been a long time, huh? She's gonna be in and out because she's not gonna want to sit still. She's almost 15 months old. So yeah, I'm just gonna call this like her 15-month update. I wanted to give you guys a quick nursery tour update too because quite a bit has changed since she's older. We even have a new crib, so let's roll that first and then we will come back and talk about her in detail. All right, so I'm just gonna give you guys a quick overview. So excuse the ring light that's in here. It's actually like getting later and it's raining out, so it's dark. So these are still the same, they're here. And then we have the palm wall that I made, that's still the same. And her crib is one of the biggest changes. So we put Rev's crib back in here. I forgot, what was the reason? Oh, the other crib that we had for her was much lower to the ground, and so she could reach the outlets, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. And then unlike Rev, Ari was a biter, so she liked to bite these edges. So our Pottery Barn crib has these little plastic things so you don't ruin the crib. Our other crib did not. So we put this one in here. It was just easier, higher up the ground, so it was safer for her not being near the outlet. And then she still has her sign up there, which we did have to move her bed here, which makes me a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because that is there, but it is very secured to the wall. Like, I've tested it, so it should be fine, and we don't really get earthquakes at all, so not really a concern here. The bedding that my mom made, sorry, I'm out of breath because I've actually already recorded the entire video except this. I'm doing this last. So this is the other part, and this is where we have her toys and her fancy A on the wall. We got this cube from IKEA, it was like 15 bucks. And in this one, she just has her little blocks to play with. She has a stacker. There's an extra passy just back there right now. These little rings and her fox that she got from her aunt. We got 2 books here and this little shape sorter. And then up top, we just keep her sound machine and her music, which is out of reach of her. That's her umbilical band. And then she has some diapers and wipes here. We keep the bulk of the diapers and wipes in the closet, right to here. But I just keep some on hand there. And then we have her diaper pail right there. But pretty much the rest of the room is just empty space for her to crawl around in and play. And so she does sleep with a pillow now. I left that out. She sleeps with the pillow and she sleeps on the pillow. Loves it. And so this is just an empty corner that we have her monitor here. All right, so now for the actual update. So first up is walking. She is finally walking as of yesterday. She finally took a couple steps and I'm thankful. I believe it's until 18 months they have to walk, and that's when they really get concerned. But typically by 15 months, most pediatricians are kind of expecting them to have walked by then. And if not, they're looking into if they need physical therapy, if they don't have like the physical ability to, or if it's just like, I'm being stubborn. And for Ari, it was definitely a stubborn thing. She's just very much so I will do it on my own timing. Anytime we try to get her to walk, she'd just loosen everything and be like a rag doll. And it was very difficult, but just yesterday she decided, hey, I'm just gonna walk on my own. We weren't even coaxing or nothing, she just did it on her own. So I was super proud of her, and I'm glad I don't have to have that discussion with her doctor. So next up is talking. This was another one that I was concerned about with her for a while. Now I know for most second or third or fourth born kids, they usually talk later than their older siblings because their older siblings talk for them. So this is pretty normal across the board from what I understand, and she definitely followed that trend. But just recently, she's really started repeating things. She hasn't necessarily started saying things on her own accord, but she will definitely repeat things. She did start like singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with me one day, which I find interesting because that's the first time she's really ever said things more than mama or dada or baba or you know, just those like typical sounds that most babies can make by this age. She has finally started saying real words. It sounded like yesterday she said thanks, and she has said, I believe, all done once. She does sign all done and more, but it's very infrequently. So she definitely knows how to repeat things, but she isn't so much really talking and saying things on her own, besides Daisy. Rev was the same way. Daisy is like the hit thing to say around here, and they say Datey, which is really cute. Next up, Potty. So if you're new to my channel, you might be like, what? She's 15 months. Why are you worried about this? We do elimination communication. So we start potty training. I hate the word potty training. We start communicating elimination needs with our kids from basically newborn stage. So Ari, I will be the first to admit that I have not been on top of this like I was with Rev. It's just not easy with 2 kids. It's a lot harder this time around. I know a lot of EC parents found the second child to be easier because they were better at spotting their cues and being more in communication with them than they were with their first because they were newer at it. But I don't know what it is with my kids. They don't leave a lot of cues. I had to wait until they were verbally ready to tell me. And so with Ari, I just wasn't on top of taking her at regular times like I was with Rev. But despite my terrible efforts, she still tells us she needs to go sometimes. Especially the last week, she's been like, if I say, do you need to go potty, she'll crawl right to the bathroom and knock on the toilet, put her on and she'll go. She poops on the potty. She pees on the potty sometimes. So she's definitely not as consistent as Rev was at this point. But she, like, it's not a fail by any means. She still is interested in it. That's one thing I like about EC is, especially us, we're super laid back EC parents compared to some. And so even despite me not being as on top of things with her, she still is open to it. She still likes the potty. She still goes to the potty and asks to be put on. And so that's a good thing. She's still interested in it. So right now I'm just kind of following her, and when she wants to go, she wants to go. But I definitely don't like put her on every single time she wakes up and every time she goes down for a nap. I just wait for her to tell me she needs to. Next up is, how big is she? She's a pretty big girl. So she's actually very thin, but she's solid. She's very solid and she's very tall. I don't have her 15-month statistics. I'll be really interested to see what they are. If you're not, oh, sorry, pretty girl. I just hit her in the face. If you're not following me on Twitter, I will probably post her statistics there or on our vlog channel once we have that appointment. But at her 1-year appointment, she was 99th percentile, I think, for height, and she was like 60 or 70th for weight, I think. And her weight is just up there because she's so tall. So if you look at her, she's pretty thin. Like she's not, you're not a very chubby baby. You're just solid. She's very solid. But she wears the same exact size as her big sis. Isn't that right? Yes. Her and Revelyn, who is 2.5, she'll be 2.5 in just a couple days, they wear the exact same size clothes, which is kind of nice because we don't have to separate clothing at all. Like for pajamas, like footy pajamas, she's in 24-month if they're like the stretchy ones, but she has some that are 2T. I pretty much only buy them 3T shirts and 2T pants now, or shorts or whatever, and I buy 3T dresses. So she's a big lady. She's a big lady. Why you got that in? So yeah, like I said, I'll be interested to see where she is at for her 15-month. But right now, she's the same size as her sister minus height. She is a couple inches shorter than Rev, but Rev is super thin. And so that makes them kind of even out height-wise in terms of their clothing. So they wear the same clothes. So yeah, you saw she still has her pacifier. Those of you that have been around for a while, you may remember we took Rev's pacifier away like when she was 10 or 11 months, I think. And that was because it was getting in the way of her sleep. With Ari, it hasn't gotten in the way of anything. She still sleeps through the night. Oh, that's another thing. Sleep. She's doing great with sleep. As long as she's not sick or going through teething, she sleeps through the night. She might wake up once, and sometimes I just go and give her the passy back and she goes back to sleepies, huh? Whoa. So, next up is other random medical things going on with her. I don't think you guys can see, but so she has an umbilical hernia. For a lot of kids, it's normal. At this point, it is not of any concern. For most kids, it's supposed to close up on its own by 5. We do have an umbilical wrap on her, which I think I might have pointed out in the room tour for you guys, that sometimes we put on her to help, but for the most part, it's just a matter of waiting. The only possible reason it may not close on its own is likely that she might have EDS like me. So hernias are pretty common in people that have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So there is a chance that that could also be why she has it. And if that is the case, it may not close on its own. And at that point, because it's not causing any health issues for her, we can choose to have it fixed, but it would be considered a cosmetic fix, not like a medical necessity fix. So the other thing that she showed signs of was infant torticollis. So we took her to a chiropractor and she did that consistently and nothing has come back since. She's been in the clear. So it definitely was a very mild case. If you watch our vlog channel, I feel like I'm saying that a lot. then you may remember that one night she woke up and she was just screaming her head off. There was nothing I could do to get her to stop crying, and so I finally took her in to the emergency room, and we couldn't figure it out, and then we finally noticed that she wasn't turning her head one way. And so from trying to finally get her to turn it, we realized that she had like a crick in her neck, basically. So I started taking her to the chiropractor right after, and so we did continually find, and she actually had this issue from a very young age. I started taking her to the chiropractor when she was only a couple weeks old, because every time she'd yawn, she'd start screaming. And she had this issue on one side of her neck from the very beginning. And a lot of times it can be caused from giving birth, like during the birthing process. So it's not really sure like when it happened, but she has always had issues with one side of her neck. But since doing the chiropractor pretty regularly, it hasn't come back. It hasn't. We've been good. So I'm thankful for a non-severe case, my little dear, and for chiropractic care. So we're gonna end this video here. She's getting super whiny. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.